Today on First Cup, we've got quotes, we've got jokes, and we'll see whatever else happens because it's Friday. Fri-Yay! Stick around. We're live in 17 seconds. Well, we're live now. You know what I mean. We start. Three, two, one. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Friday. It's December 17th, 2021. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Good morning, Tommy. Good morning, Liz. Good morning, Stacy. Good morning to all of you. Happy Friday. I hope you are well. I hope you had a great Thursday. I hope you're looking forward to a good day, a great weekend, and whatever else is ahead. You gotta look ahead. You can't look back. You gotta look ahead. You can look back, but you can't change that stuff. You gotta worry about what's in front of you. Otherwise, you crash into things. Good morning, Andy. Happy Friday to you as well. Have you guys gone and checked out Thursday's episode yesterday that I think I completely forgot to talk about? Hopefully you remember at some point during the day, oh yeah, there's an episode. Like maybe your phone tells you, hey, Jeremy and Andrew recorded a thing. Yep, we recorded a thing. And you should go check it out. It was about the importance of culture in a martial arts school. And I think Andrew and I handled this topic well. It's an important subject, and you may not realize how critical culture is to a school unless you've been to a bunch of different schools. And then you go to one school and you're like, oh, this place is pretty good. And then you go to somewhere else and you're like, oh, this place kind of sucks. It's the culture. Now, it doesn't mean that the culture is the cause. Culture is not the cause. But the culture is what makes things enjoyable. It's the ambiance, the atmosphere. You ever been to a restaurant and you're like, the food's okay, but I really like going there? Well, culture. You ever, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Good morning, Daniel, Jenny, Kelly. Kelly says, yes, I did. It was good. Thank you. Oh, you are welcome. Stacy says, unless you've been to one that doesn't work for you. Right. And culture is not necessarily a one size fits all. In fact, it's definitely not a one size fits all. But that's okay. There are different martial arts taught by different people in different places because there are different people looking for different things in different places. That's good. That's how it should be. So coffee today, cream, a little bit of cocoa. Yeah. Not hot cocoa, not the stuff with all the sugar. This is not an ad. This is what I put in my coffee because it's just cocoa powder. It's like powdered baking chocolate, but you know what? You throw it in some coffee and it tastes pretty good. Feeling a little silly this morning. Not a bad thing. Had great training yesterday. Went down to New Hampshire, did some Superfoot training with past guest, Master Terry Dow, my friend. And he sent me a message, I think it was Monday. Yeah, so Thursday, there's some stuff I'm going to try out on you. Oh, okay. That usually means that something's going on with the Superfoot organization. They're trying to figure out how to present some material. And I become a guinea pig. So I was a guinea pig, and it was a good time. Did a bunch of stuff. And one of the things I was most thankful for was that I've been doing this long enough that Terry asked my opinion on some stuff. And it may seem small, but if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. It's a nice thing. It's nice to feel valued in that way when people want your feedback on something. Jenny says, I've done that with the cocoa powder too. I think it's one of the best low-calorie additives, depending on where you are in 12 Months to Health. If you've read ahead, you may know that there's a chapter coming on fat and putting fat in the morning. And so I'm careful about breaking that. There's the macros. Right? It's almost half, just shy of half of the calories are from fat. So, I'm putting in like a teaspoon or less. It's not a big deal, but it's tasty and it mixes it up. Daniel says, cocoa powder and coffee sounds like a solid idea. It is. Jenny says, and it's a Pennsylvania company, not far from where I live. Hershey, Pennsylvania has like a theme park, and I've been by, I've not been, but it sounds like such a throwback, right? Like, let's go to the theme park based on all the candy. Like it's some weird combination. It's some weird fantasy from like a 5-year-old's brain. But I've heard it's really fun. Maybe someday. And Daniel, despite being across the pond, even knew that. Tommy's been there. So there we go. So there's our discussion on chocolate for the morning. Wow. Look at Dennis saying, I'm just realizing this is the last non-holiday Fri-Yay of 2021. Next week will be the 24th, and then New Year's Eve day morning. Yeah, so Christmas Eve day morning and New Year's Eve day morning, we will still have shows. We're not going anywhere because I still got to get up. And I'm still going to come sit on the couch, and I'm still going to have coffee, and I might as well do it with all of you, because not doing that with all of you seems weird, and I don't like it. There are some days coming because of the tour and other events where I will be doing First Cup from hotel rooms. A couple days next month for sure. Actually, those are the only ones on the books until June. Because in June for Superfoot, we go to Florida. Because it's warm in June. I don't know. Anyway, those of you in the chat, what are you doing this weekend? Good morning, Eric. I want to hear from all of you. My weekend plans, we're doing the family holiday thing this weekend. Another trip to grab more stuff from my father's estate. Been processing all of that. That's going well. I found pictures of the house when he bought it, pre-renovation. So those are kind of fun to look at and see how different it was 15 years ago. What else am I doing this weekend? What am I doing today? I'm working. I got work to do. I got some client stuff I got to do. And I think I'm just going to take it easy. I've been on the road. It's been crazy. Guests on Tuesday, interviews, life-changing experiences with one of them who emailed me. I have to email him back. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Stacy is moving her office stuff because of her awesome new job. Daniel's saying, First Cup from a hotel room, what will we do without the whiskey backdrop? Oh, new bottle. It was on sale, so it fit under the $15 mark. It's not good, but it's the first bottle of scotch I was able to get into the collection under the metrics, or the criteria, rather. And Liz says he'll have to line up the mini bar. I don't know if the hotel that I'm staying at has a mini bar. I'm not used to it doing that. Jenny says, I have an evaluation tomorrow. If I stay on track by this time next year, I will be testing for third dawn. Yay! Congratulations. Awesome. And she follows up with, he said, on the road, not without the whiskey. That is true. That is quite true. I don't generally roll around with a collection of whiskey, sometimes a bottle, and I rarely bring it from home. I stop it. For those of you who don't know the layout, Vermont is small in terms of geographic size as well as population, which means we don't have a lot in the way of liquor stores. We have some, and they're all state regulated, and the pricing is okay. Now, over the border, which is about an hour away. And in New Hampshire, they have bigger, better, less expensive liquor stores. So if I'm going to buy a bottle, if I'm leaving the state, I'll stop there. Hence, part of my routine. I drive down, I do Superfoot, I drive back, stop at the big rest area, get a salad. Yeah, they have really good food. And go to the liquor store and grab a bottle and bring it home. That's the routine. So if I travel, if I do first cup elsewhere, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll bring the book. Oh, the pillow's over there. Could have put the pillow up. The pillow and a bottle, and you guys can feel like I'm at home with probably a nicer background that doesn't involve a map. Although, map of the world, pretty handy to have. Daniel says, tomorrow's my archery Christmas social, which is, I think, still going ahead. COVID's getting fun here again. Yes, it is. I wasn't supposed to use the word. That's okay. YouTube's going to somehow flag this as like about that subject. Dennis says, given my previous comment, I suppose I should begin wrapping gifts. Depends on how many you have. Do you have many? I saw Stacey said, but boy, do we have breweries and distilleries. Yes, we do. We like our booze. We really do. It gets cold. It gets cold and it gets dark. That's how we get through. I saw a great meme on Facebook yesterday, day before, and it was a pie chart of time spent wrapping presents. And it was like 1/3 looking for the scissors, 1/8 looking for the tape, another small sliver actually wrapping the present, and then the majority of the pie chart, like 2/3 or whatever, was removing the cat from the paper. and it reminded me of Zuza. And yeah, she used, if wrapping paper was laid out, she would step on it. She liked the crinkle, and she wouldn't just step on it. She would make these big, tall steps. It's my first Christmas without her. Yeah. Have a good day, Andy. Daniel says, I'm a big fan of a good brewery. I brew my own beer. Awesome. Well, you can come over here, and I think we give out permits in like a gumball machine. So you can come make your own beer. You let's see. I am unaware of any other Brits making beer in Vermont. That could be your gimmick. You could do that. And you could, I don't know, what do you guys do with beer? Not refrigerate it and something. I don't know. Daniel says, I've been known to wrap stuff on Christmas Day. When I was in my 20s, I didn't really wrap presents. I would put them in paper bags and then staple them shut. I thought it was funny and took less time, and it was recycling. I thought it checked all the boxes. But now I have wrapping paper because I'm an adult, and I've been on the same roll of wrapping paper for a very long time, but it's double-sided, so I mix it up. Jenny says, procrastination can make for some of the best results. I've wrapped in aluminum foil. Ooh, I like that. Turning your gifts. Giving gifts with a Faraday cage built in. How cool is that? More coffee. All right. Jokes. Let's switch over to the jokes. Where are we? Here we are. Courtesy of Frank. Thank you, as always, to Frank. The jokes for Funday Friday. December is National Pear Month. A farmer just burst into tears because nobody likes eating his apples anymore. I told him to grow a pear. It took a second. I'm a little disappointed that took a second. When is an iPhone not an apple? When there's two of them, then it's a pear. What did the religious pear say to the grape that lost his wife? Everything happens for a reason. What got the apple into skydiving? Pear pressure. I've been secretly tossing pears at my neighbor for a couple weeks now. I can hear him talking to his wife about government drones trying to drive him crazy, but he's just paranoid. Where do you take your pear tree when it runs out of pears? The repair shop. And the last one. These are good. I'm not doing a great job reading them. What did the vegetable couple say to the fruit couple? You two make a nice pair. Right on. That the first one, because I didn't do it well. I think that made it better though. Daniel, that took you a minute. Yes, it did. Jeremy, your reaction to that first joke made it so much better. Hey, I have no problem being a bit self-deprecating. If my inability to read that joke made it funnier for the rest of you, by all means. Coffee is so good. It really is. All right. And then the quotes that Frank gives us, someone who I actually would like to have on the show. On this day in 1969, American mixed martial artist Chuck Liddell was born. Now, why do I want Chuck on the show? Why would Chuck cross the threshold? Well, do you know who, I don't know if still, because I'm fairly certain he's retired, but for a good chunk of time, do you know whose primary coach was? Somebody who's been on the show, John Hackleman. Someone who I have tremendous respect for, someone who very much blurs the line between a traditional and mixed martial arts philosophy, and yet still values, still understands the principles, at least most of them, of traditional training. And so I think it would be interesting to see which of those elements exist in Mr. Liddell's training and martial arts philosophy view. It's true. I have not had much coffee yet. All right. Number one, I've never found that getting physical is ever the best response in a bar. You just have to make sure you keep your distance. And if it gets to a point where it gets aggressive, then the best thing to do is to go get a bouncer and get the situation resolved intelligently. Chuck Liddell is saying that. So the next time, you guys see the social media graphic we put up yesterday about violence and people's response when the subject of violence comes up, like, no, I'll get my gun. Chuck Liddell, who, let's agree, could probably now in his, this is risky, let's try it. Hey, Google, how old is Chuck Liddell?
Chuck Liddell is 52 years old.
Okay. Even at 52, could probably stomp 99.9% of the population with a zero issue, is still advising that he would go get a bouncer. So if Chuck Liddell's philosophy is to go get a bouncer and handle things the right way, then the next time somebody's like, I'll just punch him in the face. Well, do you think you could beat Chuck Liddell in a fight? And if they say yes, they're wrong, unless they're one of the handful of people who've done that. And then you can mention this quote to them. I'm sure it'll go really well. When someone is fearless, when pain isn't a factor, it's impossible to break his spirit. Ooh, I like that. Pain happens. Things hurt. What are you going to do? There's not much you can do. You keep going. You might even say that you just never settle. You don't quit, whatever you want to call it. And you keep plugging along, and it's really hard to win when someone's not willing to quit. You can't make someone give up. They choose to give up. So if you were to think about it that way, that also means that nobody can make you give up. You have to choose to quit. You choose if you're not going to go to class. You choose if you're not going to practice. You choose this, that, and the other. There's always a little bit more. Well, what if you get to your breaking point? Okay, so I show up in front of you and I say, if you can keep going for one more second for $1 million, you can't find the energy to do that? Oh, right. That's exactly the point. There's always a little more. Maybe you don't have an hour more. Maybe you only have a minute more. But after that, you probably have another minute. And then maybe it's 30 seconds. Maybe those stretches of time have to get smaller and smaller. This is also my advice to folks who are dealing with mental health stuff. When I'm feeling really low and things suck, sometimes I'm not able to look at an entire week. It's overwhelming. Sometimes not even a day. Sometimes not even an hour. Sometimes what's the one thing that I can handle doing right now? And I close my email and I go do that thing. And maybe that thing takes 10 times longer than it should. For those of you listening, that was air quotes. That's okay. Because any movement is better than none. You gotta move forward. No matter how slow it is. I'm just laughing at the chat. Daniel says, I get loads of comments at work about my never settle shirt. People love the motto. It's pretty powerful. It sounds, I guess you could take it in two ways. Actually, no, this one doesn't have it on. The shirt I had on yesterday after training had never settle on the back. You can look at it very, righteously. I don't settle for anything, and I only have the best. I only live in the nicest house and drive the best car. It's not how I mean it. I mean, if that's how somebody wants to take it, that's fine. Never settle. Don't be content with, what I just did was good enough. There may be a better use of your time than working on that thing. That's not settling. It's being intelligent with your time and your energy. Dennis encapsulates this well. 2 words that simply say so much. Of all the things that we did early on, that's probably the thing I knocked out of the park the best, was the slogan. We haven't had to change it. That was a 2013 thing, if I remember correctly. Took till like 2015 to put it on a shirt. I didn't know what I was doing. Still don't. But trying. Here's our last quote from Chuck Liddell. A fighter with heart will almost always win out against a fighter with skill, but no will. That would be good on a shirt too, wouldn't it? A fighter with skill, but no will. And it even rhymes. It's kind of nice. Don't be content with mediocrity, says Liz. I agree. So, as you go forward today and this weekend, try to take these quotes to heart. If there's something going on today and you look at what you've done and you say, I'm tired of working on this. I should do, I should. Here's a great example. Here's one that drives me nuts from a lot of people. You write a long email. I don't mean like a 1 or 2 sentence, but a long email. You're trying to communicate something with multiple parts. Read it over before you send it. Install Grammarly. Check the spelling. If it's more than, let's say, 300 words, try using some additional formatting. Headings, bold, italic, underline. If you break up those emails, they're easier to read. It's something I've been doing more of for clients and for whistlekick stuff. And you might look at that and go, does it really matter? Well, maybe. But if you're trying to communicate something, is it worth that extra 2-3 minutes? Probably. And that's what we're talking about. When you talk about not settling, you're talking about that doing the form one more time. You're talking about editing that email just a little bit more and trying to bring the best version forward. Don't settle for a substandard version of you or your work. Try to bring out the best version that you have time and energy for. Doesn't mean perfect. Never settle is not suggesting things should be perfect. But we all know that feeling, yeah, it's fine. I'm just going to, that's what I'm talking about. Don't just be fine. Be better. Whatever that means. Everybody's agreeing about Grammarly and how great it is. Jenny says the whistlekick book director agrees. I want to find a more fun title for Jenny. That is her title, but I feel like if the word czar hadn't been so overused in government, I would want to call her the book czar because it sounds like a dinosaur. Tommy says, I still have people proofread for me when trying to articulate something important. Yeah. Everybody sees things a little bit differently. Getting help, getting support, getting additional perspective is valuable. When we did 12 Months to Health, how many people have looked that over? Before it published? 6, 7, 8? Bunch of people. Many people. Jenny says, I love that. And there's an emoji of a dinosaur. Daniel says, director of written wisdom. That's Kelly calls it Bookosaurus. I like it. All right. Good stuff as always. Great way to start Friday, to end the week. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope that you will leave some stuff for me to talk about on Monday. Don't forget, you can leave your questions or comments on the Facebook page, facebook.com/firstcupofjeremy. If you're listening, if you're a listener, if you're not a Facebook, scratch that. It has nothing to do with you're a listener. If you're not a Facebook user, there we go. I'm still waking up. You can email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. We do this every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. And if you want to support us, we've got the Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick. You can buy stuff on the website. We had a bunch of orders yesterday there's stuff I have to ship out. People bought forearm and elbow guards. I haven't sold one of those in ages. And a bunch of other stuff. And you can use the code FirstCup15 to save 15% on anything you buy, except for All In Weekend. It's the only thing you can't use that code on. We are not discounting that beyond the little bit that we did early on for people who came in for training day. Of course, if you want me to come to your school or a school near you for a seminar, you can also email me. Thank you to all of you watching live later, listening. I appreciate every single one of you. As I've said often, if you weren't here, I would just be talking to the TV. Thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great day, great weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday. Peace. Oh, look at all those comments that came in while I said that. Daniel, yes, I will. The expenses have to be rolled in, and I don't know, your country has to let me in, but yeah. Yay, seminars. All right. Bye, everybody.